I was gonna say good morning, but it's not the morning. And I was gonna say good afternoon, but I always get confused when it's like afternoon, evening. When does it start the evening? When does the afternoon end? Afternoon starts afternoon. I don't know. But Fancy Blitz, it's your boy Elijah. Happy Thursday to those that celebrate and happy draft day. It is time. It is April 24th. We've been talking about this day for quite some time now. And after 3 mock drafts, that brings us to our final mock draft. Fantasy Blitz's 4.0 mock draft. Final mock draft. We will be doing all 32 teams. This time I have a little bit more time to actually break it down and not just dance moves. Break it down and just go through each selection a little bit more. And just, I think, make some better picks than I have previously. I'm very, it's going to be interesting this year. And my laptop, of course, is moving at the speed of a rock, which is fine. I mean, I type in 3 letters and it pops up like 2 seconds later. It should be now, right? First world problems, though. I'm blessed to even have one. For sure. All right. Let's look over here real quick. I mean, a lot of people, I don't know. I'm seeing Travis Hunter go 1, but that just wouldn't make any sense to me. Like, that's why you can't be looking at some people. Yes, let's go, coach, says Wayne Heron. You already know. Come on. People should be coming in pretty quickly. I've noticed with the phone viewing or going off of my phone, a lot of people join in, but they don't stay for long. They just join in. So, yeah. All right, yeah, I want to see what this looks like. And we're gonna spice things up today. Yeah, I'm looking at this one mock draft. I don't know if I completely agree. Like Millen falling to the Cowboys, that I can see, but then they have Will Campbell going to the Patriots. I can see that too. And then they got Genty going to the Jags, and I think that could happen. I really see that happening, or I see that happening. Of course, it all depends on where the guys go before him. All right, let's wait. All right, there we go. We got 14 people in there. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is our Fantasy Blitz's NFL mock draft, meaning that we are pretty much just guessing which players will go to, which teams. All 32 teams in the NFL found. So 32 picks. We're going to go ahead and enter the draft. Let's do this thing. Hopefully my laptop, I compared it to a rock. Now it's acting like a rock. It won't even let me click. There we go. It just went through. That's unbelievable. Oh, no. It's doing auto. No. What in the world? Well, I appreciate y'all's patience. It's very kind of you. What in the world, man? Am I on like a bad Wi-Fi? Oh, yes, I am. I'm on the neighbor's Wi-Fi. Stand by. All good. Sorry about this, y'all. This is not fun. It's just if you're new here, this happens a bunch, But the technical difficulties, whether it's my phone, camera, my laptop, whatever it may be, something might happen. It's getting kind of ridiculous at this point. Not gonna lie. All right, I think that should speed up a little bit more. Yeah, there we go. All right, all teams. Selecting all teams. There we go. Enter solo draft. All right, it's loading in. Here we go. All right, so we're just going to get the first one out of the way. Of course, it's Tennessee Titans going with Cam Ward. They do need a new franchise player, right? They have some weapons on the offensive side, but they're not the franchise guy. And I can't remember the last time Tennessee had a franchise guy, to keep it real. They had A.J. Brown. Well, okay, I take that back. Derrick Henry. But, he's gone now, and it's just they need a new face. And I feel like it's time to go ahead and make that jump for this quarterback of Cam Ward. So let's go ahead. Let's go. Hello. Man, this is not cool. Why is it doing auto draft? What in the world? Did I click on something wrong? Man, this is so bad. This is so bad. It won't even let me, like... Oh my gosh. We might just have to do... Alright, let's try ESPN, even though I'm a firm ESPN no. Like, firm no. I don't like them. Alright, let's try this one out. Let's just do one round. Normal speed. And is there a button? Do I have to click? See, this is why they're terrible. You have to click on every... I have to choose one team? Oh my gosh, man. What is this? Alright, NFL. How about NFL mock draft database? That sounds like a good place, right? Select all. Year 25. Are you a Vibe Fever Squeaky? I guess so. I don't really know. I don't know. But I really wish my laptop would not start freezing up a bunch. Can I enter the draft room? Oh. I'm going to select the number of rounds. Sorry, y'all. I did have it pulled up, but then it's just like I'm not. One round. Enter draft room. Here we go. This should work. This should really work. Why'd you retract the message? I saw it. I really did see it. Oh my gosh. Are you Squeaky Move? I guess. I don't know. I guess so. What in the world? Okay. What is going on? This is ridiculous. This is so ridiculous. My laptop is just dying. Do I get even? Well, you know what they say. Get even or get even worse. Shout out to Vegas Matt. Let's try Pro Football Focus one last time just to see what it's like. Jordan Washington, if you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. And hit that like button too. That would be awesome. Okay, I'm selecting all teams. Oh my gosh. Okay, now I have to see rounds 1. I have selected all teams. Unless that's the thing, is like don't select the teams because they're making the picks. But I feel like that's so misleading. All right, I think I found it. All right, start draft. Don't move. All right, we're on the clock. Here we go. All right, number 1 overall pick, Cam Ward. Easy peasy, not a hard decision at all. You got to get smooth, says Jordan Washington. You got to get subscribed, brother. Come on, hop in. Number 2, the Browns. All right, after thinking about it for a while, I don't think they're going Shedeur. I think they're going to go best player available, and that's Travis Hunter. So they're going to go Travis at 2, and I think that's going to shake up a lot of draft night, right? Just because I think a lot of teams were just, especially the Giants, like thinking they could get a guy above them, and that would be Travis Hunter. So I think Travis Hunter's going to go to the Browns, which is really unfortunate for him. All right, so now next we have the Giants. Then again, I still think they're going to go best player available, and that might be Abdul Carter. Now let's look at some other guys here just to make sure. Yeah, I think it's going to be Abdul Carter for sure. I did read a report today that the Falcons are really aggressively trying to get top 2 and 3 picks. That would kind of scare me because I don't know what teams would even accept a pick because 2 or 3, you're going to get a really good guy out of Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter. So they would obviously be targeting one of those guys, the Falcons. Hopefully they get Abdul Carter. I think that would be a steal. if they can get a good trade in. Next, for 4 of the Patriots, I can see them going Will Campbell, tackle out of LSU, just to get a guy that can really help out the line. Then the Jags. Reading that article about Genty going to Jaguars, that's pretty huge. I feel like they could really pull something off like that. He would be best player available, but then that would really mess up the Raiders. But Jags don't care about the Raiders, so I'm going Genty here at 5. No more of this dream scenario stuff, right? I think it's just what teams are going to go with, who the teams are going to go with. Next is the 6 at Raiders. Oh man, they need everything. I think it's too early for McMillan out of Arizona. Maybe they could go for, I don't know. Oh man, it'd be really high to go for McMillan though. Maybe Mason Graham. I think Mason Graham would be a nice move. So top 6 pick, Mason Graham, defensive lineman out of Michigan. Then number 7 for the Jets. A lot of people still saying Tyler Warren. I haven't seen any of that die down yet. I would not like to see that at all. I just don't think it makes sense. I think that'd be a waste of a pick. That high, at least. All right, so maybe even, no. I was going to say Malachi Starks, but I don't think that'd be nice. It's just too high. We're going to go with Armand Membo, tackle out of Missouri, at number 7 for the Jets. Give Justin Fields some more protection, even though he is a rookie. Then at 8 for the Panthers, we're going to go scrolling on down to Jalen Walker, linebacker out of Georgia. I think he's going to go up there. I think a lot of teams are starting to see his potential and really see the athleticism on him. At number 9, the Saints. A lot of teams, again, are saying Jackson Dart. Earlier, I was talking to someone today, and I said Jackson Dart could go to the Saints. That was like one of my earlier predictions, but I just don't see it happening. So, no Jackson Dart here. They could go with McMillan. Any defensive lineman would be really good for them. These ADPs are crazy. Why are they so out of line? I don't get it. There's not much I get in this world, but this is one of them. And this is one of them, I would say. Alright, yeah, we're going to just scroll on past that one. Alright, maybe they do go McMillan at 9. We'll go McMillan at 9. Now, 10, the Bears. I think they're going to go Malachi Starks here out of Georgia, safety. I think that's a solid pick for them just because it'd be cool to get their secondary up. But it would be ideal if they can get, like, Mike Green or something, but they're not going to go there. Alright, then for the Raiders at 11, any sort of offensive lineman. So let's look at their offensive lineman available here. Maybe Kelvin Banks Jr., Josh Simmons. I think those are some of the best tackles in there. So let's go ahead and go with Josh Simmons. All right, and then for the Cowboys, if McMillan's available there, go ahead and get him. But I think they're going to go ahead and get Amari Hampton out of North Carolina, running back, because they need one. They don't have a running back. They really don't. It's Deuce Vaughn, I think, and he's good, but I think he's a good RB3, not very much so an RB2. So we'll see how that goes. We're the Cowboys at 12. 13 for the Dolphins. Again, another offensive lineman would be really beneficial for them. And I think if they go ahead and get Kelvin Banks, that'd be nice for them. Let me find him. Kelvin Banks Jr., tackle out of Texas. And then 14, I'll drink the juice. Oh, no, Tyler Warren's available, not Colston Loveland. Sorry. Tyler Warren at 14, I think that'd be a steal for the Colts, especially just where they are ranked in the draft or positioned in the draft. 15 for the Falcons. It's no secret they need an edge rusher. So let's see if we can find an edge rusher here. Mikael Williams would be really nice. I would like to see him go there, especially rooting for the Dogs. But Mike Green would be really nice. Falcons never drafted Georgia Bulldogs, so let's go Mike Green. At 16 for the Cardinals, they need a guard or a defensive lineman. Let's scroll on down to see some guards here. There's Tyler Booker out of Alabama. And then let's look at some cornerbacks available. We're going to go Jahdae Barron or Will Johnson. I like Will Johnson more in this draft. just a little bit more, just because of the defensive culture Michigan presents. So we're going to go with Will Johnson. And then for the Bengals, I have a guard, defensive lineman, a linebacker needed, according to Pro Football Focus. Oh, man, I don't know. Any sort of defensive guy, though, I think would be really, really helpful. I'm scrolling. I would like to see James Pierce Jr. I just think he looked good in the Bengals uniform. I think he would pair really well with, what's that guy's name on the edge? Now I gotta find out. Why? Why am I blanking? Why am I Arthur blanking? Not cool. No, I'm gonna find him. Hold on. Again. A second. I appreciate y'all's patience. For real. Bengals. If y'all know in the chat, let me know. It would really be beneficial. Bengals edge rusher. What's his name? Trey Hendrickson. Yeah, he's really good. He's solid. He's a solid player for sure. So I think James Pierce Jr. would benefit with him really well. All right, let's get back into it. I think, yeah, let's go with James Pierce Jr. I think it's a little high. Or Shamir Stewart. Oh, I don't know. We're going to go with Shamir. Let's go with Shamir. All right, next up for the Seahawks. Man, I don't know. I don't know for this one. Let's go back to the edge rushers, and let's get James Pierce Jr. here. Bada bing, bada boom. For the Bucks, let's go with Jahad Campbell, linebacker out of Alabama. I think that fits perfect for a lot of his projections for him, just around the 17, 19, 20 spot. Not terrible. Broncos, again, no secret. Any sort of skill position. So a Mecca would be nice. Matthew Golden with his speed would be really nice. Luther Burden. But let's go with Matthew Golden. I think he's one of the higher wide receivers that's going to be taken in this draft. And then at 21, do the Steelers go with Shedeur? That's a very big question. I think they do. I do think he gets drafted tonight. I wouldn't be surprised, but, like, that's the type of excitement that draft day presents. Like, you just never know. Like, Will Levis falling down outside of the top 32 picks. A lot of people didn't see that coming. Lamar Jackson even falling down to 32 for the Ravens. Like, a lot of these guys that people talk about don't always get drafted where they are talked about being drafted. All right, so now we move on to the Chargers. I think adding another wide receiver would be good. So let's go with a Mecca. I've been at pains Harbaugh to draft an Ohio State Buckeye, but, you know, you got to do what you got to do after graduation, right? All right, so next up for the Packers, any sort of just either a secondary guy or on the defensive line, I think would be very, very beneficial for them. So I think Jahdae Barron would be great for the Packers. Again, a lot of these guys are rookies. You know, not a lot of them. They are all rookies. It's just got to give them time. And I think Barron going to the Packers would give a lot of experience, good experience in practicing with those guys, because a lot of Packers, man, they turn out to be really good defensive players. Up next for the Vikings, let's pause on the Vikings. Apparently, the Vikings are interested in trading back for Kirk Cousins. That would be like one of the greatest heists of all time from Kirk Cousins for the Falcons. Like, rob us of a gajillion dollars and then just go back to your old team. Like, what? That's crazy. But we're gonna go with Walter Nolan here, out of Ole Miss. It's weird seeing Mississippi next to his name. And then we go for the Texans. I think they can go with Luther Burden here. They do need some help in the wide receiver core after losing Stephon Diggs. And then for the Rams, Colston Loveland would be great. Or another tackle. Let's check out some tackles. Gray Zabel out of North Dakota State tackle. Not my ideal pick, but it's not too exciting. But let's go with a good old Bison right there. So now we have 6 picks left, with the Ravens, the Lions, the Commanders, the Bills, the Chiefs, and the Eagles. Starting off with the Ravens, Let's go ahead and look at some guards. Tyler Booker wouldn't be terrible. That's what we had last time. Guard, an edge. Maybe even Donovan. Can never get this last name. Ezerako. Excuse me, Donovan. I'm so sorry. But we're going to go ahead and go with him. And then we have the Lions. I feel like the Lions will be a little upset with the Ravens taking an edge rusher right there, but it doesn't matter. It's about your team, right? All right, so then the Lions, I think they go. I like their wide receiver core. I don't think they need to get another one. They just paid Kirby Joseph as the highest paid safety in NFL history. Pretty much if you ever see like a guy getting paid a ton of money in his position nowadays, it's going to be called like the highest paid blank in NFL history because the money just keeps going up and up. Now, is Kirby Joseph worth it? I don't know. I don't know if it's worth making him the highest paid safety in NFL history, but I think it is somewhat worth it of giving him the money. I just don't know if giving him all that money. Let's look up his contract real quick. He just signed a 4-year, $86 million contract. Average salary of $21.5 million. Oh, that's just crazy. Crazy. I mean, not everyone knows who Kirby Joseph is, but he is the highest paid NFL safety ever. Like, what? That's crazy. That's wild, man. Welcome to today's NFL. Like, that's insane. Let's go ahead and go for a linebacker here for the Detroit Lions. I don't really like any of these linebackers, so I changed my mind. Let's add an edge rusher in there. Nick Scorton would be nice. Mikael Williams falling that low. Yeah, I don't know why I have Mikael Williams. Again, I messed up there. Mikael Williams is not going to fall at 28. If I had to redo this, I would have Mikael going to the Vikings at 23. Sorry, Walter Nolan. You're not getting drafted tonight, I think. Yeah, so again, we're going to switch those at the end. Safety is such a killer position. Look, those guys got to be on it. Seriously. Like, they have to be on the ball. And when it's those one-on-one tackling situations, you got to make those tackles because you're the last man back, and you got to be fast. You got to be aggressive. So it is a position that is not for the weak-hearted or the light-hearted because you got to move, man. This is cool. They offered trades. I don't want it, though. All right, one last sip. Rainstorm. Good stuff. Not sponsored, but wish we were. All right, next up for the Commanders. They're saying running back, but I think they're going to stick with Brian Robinson Jr. Maybe Kenneth Grant. Yeah, Kenneth Grant out of Michigan would be nice for them. Help out that defensive line a little bit more. Now, 3 more picks for the Bills, the Chiefs, and the Eagles. We'll see how that goes. I don't know. We'll see. I'm so excited for the draft tonight. So it's like something you always look forward to, and then when you finally get to draft day, you're just like, oh my gosh, like the beginning of, like, this is like the true beginning of the season, I think, because now it's like, all right, the rookies are in. Let's see how it goes, right? All right, we're going to go with Nick Scorton here, though, out of Texas A&M to the Bills. Last 2 picks for the Chiefs and the Eagles. Looks like they need an offensive lineman. Maybe Josh Connolly Jr. out of Oregon. That would be a terrible pick. Or just some sort of guard or a defensive lineman. Let's check out these defensive linemen. Derek Harmon out of Oregon. Welcome to Kansas City. Might win a ring. Not might, probably will. All right, and then last but not least, the Eagles. Congratulations, you win the Super Bowl. You get the last pick, which is fine by me, if you're an Eagles fan. Coin! Put me in, Coach Eli. Haha, what's up, brother? Glad that you made it. We're on the last pick, but we will go over the picks at the very end. All right, so they need a wide receiver, the Eagles, wide receiver, guard, edge, or cornerback. Let's have a look. I think they're going to probably go best player available here. So let's just get rid of that. And for this draft right here that we're doing, it would be Colson Loveland, but I just don't see it happening. Going in the first round. Maybe Tyler Booker. Yeah, I can see that happening. Tyler Booker. Tyler Booker being last pick for the draft. So we just finished our 32 picks. So let's have a look real quick at. It's loading right now. It's grading our draft. I don't think I've ever gotten a grade in our draft. So let's see. That it should give us to it by now. Give it to us by now. All right, there we go. Where's the grade? It says it grades it, but I don't see a letter. I don't know. All right, here it is. So we got Cam Ward at 1. I think that fits really well for the Titans. Travis Hunter at 2 just, I think, makes most sense because best player available. Or they go Abdul Carter. These two right here you can just swap, I think. And then Will Campbell going to the Patriots, I think, really works well just to help out Drake May. 5, Ashton Genty to the Jaguars. Just makes sense. You know, they need some sort of help on offense. And best player available type deal. Then at 6, Mason Graham to the Raiders. Nice defensive help on the line. However, they can go see if they can get some scraps in free agency. Then the Jets, Armand Membo out of Missouri tackle. That would be great for them to get him to help out Justin Fields. And then Jalen Walker, linebacker out of Georgia. Another top 10 pick for the Dogs in past coming drafts. And then Tatoria McMillan out of Arizona to the Saints. I would really hate to see that pick happening, but I think he's one hell of a player, to be honest. And then at number 10, Malachi Starks to the Bears. That would be really helpful for their defense, even though their defense is already stacked. Josh Simmons out of Ohio State going to the 49ers. Omarion Hampton, halfback out of North Carolina, going to the Cowboys, considering their atrocious running back room. It's really, really bad. Coin says, I'll go back and watch from the beginning. Coin, if you're still there, you need to go like 10 minutes ahead or so because we had some technical difficulties. It took us a whole lot longer. Kelvin Banks Jr., tackle out of Texas, would be really helpful for Tua. And then Tyler Warren out of Penn State, arguably one of the better talents in the draft. I just don't think he goes too high. But going to the Colts would be great. Mike Green out of Marshall going to the Falcons. I want to be against this pick, really. Has most sacks this year in college football. So I think him going there would be really great. Will Johnson, cornerback out of Michigan, going to the Cardinals. And let's go back to the second half. And then Jameer Stewart out of A&M going to the Bengals because their defense needs all the help they need. Or it needs all of the help. I don't even say all the help they need because they need it. And then the Seahawks, James Pierce Jr., another edge rusher out of Tennessee going to the Seahawks. 19, the Bucs select Jahad Campbell. Just really any sort of defensive help. If they can get a secondary, though, if there's a good secondary available, that'd be really nice. And then for the Cowboys, I keep saying that. I see that, like, horse, the Bronco. I just think of a cowboy. The Broncos going with Matthew Golden here. I think that speed would be great for Bo Nix, especially on his long balls. And then Steelers make a surprise pick with Shedeur Sanders. Even though it's not a surprise pick, I think, for the Steelers, I think it would be a surprise for everyone, including Shedeur Sanders. You can just see draft night with him, like, constantly checking his phone, like, oh, are they going to draft me? Are they going to draft me? Like, I don't know, man. And then number 22, Emeka Egbuka going to the Chargers, helping out that offense. And then 23, Jade Barron, cornerback out of Texas, going to the Packers. And then this one we swap here. Walter Nolan, scratch that completely. Going to Mikael Williams, moving him on up to the Vikings. Then Luther Burden, wide receiver out of Missouri, going to the Texans. Gray Zamble, tackle out of North Dakota State, to the Rams. Donovan E. I don't even want to try it anymore. Going to the Ravens. And then for the Lions, man, I don't know where Kenneth Grant. I guess just move these up, except these last couple too. But Kenneth Grant going to the Commanders, D-line out of Michigan. Nick Gordon, edge rusher out of out of A&M, going to the Bills, pairing along with Joey Bosa. And then Derek Harmon going to the Chiefs. That'd be great for their line. Maybe get some mentoring from Chris Jones. And last but not least, of course, the Eagles selecting Tyler Booker, guard out of Alabama. So that's it for us right there. That's our final mock draft. Now, next week I will maybe I could do a video. Maybe a video this weekend. I'm very busy tomorrow, but this weekend just seeing which picks we got right. I don't anticipate all of them getting picked, or even not even all. That's so arrogant of me to say. I don't anticipate a lot of these picks to be selected, just because it's a draft. You never know. You really never know where these guys are going to go, and that's the lesson of this draft. Like mock drafting is just you can't really predict them. You can just kind of have an idea. But I like these. I think a lot of these players really fit the needs for each team. Now, some of these selections are just best player available. A lot of teams strategize off of that, just which guy would be best. Like we don't really necessarily need him, but it would be great to have him on our team, and also not having him on any of the 31 teams. So I just think this is not terrible draft. I think it's pretty good. I like it. Like I said, just fits a lot of the team's needs. I think a great pick though would be, I don't know, man. I think a Mecca going to the Chargers would be nice. But Matthew Golden to the Broncos. Got it right that time. Matthew Golden to the Broncos. That'd be really, really helpful for them, especially on those long balls, man. Bo Nix proved a lot of the doubters wrong. I was one of the doubters. It was crazy last season doing starts and sits of just like, yeah, you don't need to take Bo Nix, and it's like, oh wow, Bo Nix is good. He's really good. Will he have a sophomore slump? I don't anticipate it, just because he looks really good. He looks really, really good. But yeah, that's it for the draft, our mock draft, our final mock draft. I wish I had like a bottle of champagne to pop open and say like, here's to the start of the season. And remember, there are 7 rounds. They stretch all the way out until, I believe, Saturday. Starting off with round 1 just tonight, because the NFL, gotta make a show out of it no matter what it is. Coin says, you're right, Knicks needs a fast downfield threat to go with that rocket arm. I think it would be really, really helpful. Matthew Golden's fast, man. Let's look up his 40 time real quick before we go. I think he set the record for this year's draft, not all time, but Matthew Golden 40 times. Any more in here? Just a little bit. And of course it's taking forever to load, but what's new? Okay, so you ran a 4.29, fastest time among all receivers. Second fastest overall at the combine. That's insane. Insane. All right, y'all. That's it for the show. I really appreciate it. Like I always say, whether it's 1 viewer or 100 viewers, I appreciate you for even tuning in. God bless y'all. Enjoy the draft tonight. Go get your favorite drink. Go get your favorite snack. And just let's get ready for some football, man, even though no football is being played. Love y'all. I appreciate y'all. God bless you, and have a great